Best time of the week, man, right here.
You know,
Good stuff.
Paul was saying Monday about how Scooter's really taken to being a starter for the first time. Just how do you think his season's going?
Well, you know what, I can't be more excited about the direction that he's going in. Obviously, he's not the finished product yet, but his confidence level's up. He's gaining command of the defense. I mean, he's got, you can see just by the way he's playing out there, man, he feels good about what he's doing, and he knows what he's doing, which is really big.
Physically, what's he doing? What's allowing him to make all these tackles?
I think he's reading things well. He's finally got to the point that he understands his fits. It's because everybody's got a certain fit on every play and in every defense, and he understands what those are. And so that allows you to play faster and go and be around the football.
I know Alabama offered him late, and Saban talked to him personally and all that. How worried were you guys when Alabama made a late run at him?
Well, anytime those guys come after your guys, you kind of, it is what it is. But fortunately enough, I think we built up enough trust and those types of things at us, and that he decided to stay, and we're happy that he did.
Coach, they'll run 4 running backs at you guys. How do you stay, I guess, not healthy, but enough energy going into the fourth quarter against?
You know what? All we can do is play one play at a time. Know who's in the game. They're sort of different guys. They have different. One's a little bit more downhill. The other guy's a little bit more of a jitter. You know what I'm saying? So we got to know who it is that we're playing against first of all, and then. Just trying to play one play at a time, and I'm going to try to get as many guys in the game as I can, and again, hopefully keep us fresh, and so that we're playing all the way till the end.
Welcome to our Thursday edition of On the Hill with Pat Jenkins Sports Talk Radio, and we came in with audio of Arkansas inside linebackers coach Vernon Hargreaves. Also want to let everyone know that this is brought to you by Lindsay & Associates with locations in Fayetteville, locations also too in Rogers. Lindsay & Associates, where we bring great neighbors together. It's also brought to you by Locomotion. That's located just below the Northwest Arkansas Mall in Fayetteville. Also too brought to you by Fun City. You can catch them just off the 412 bypass, and if you don't get a chance to catch us each and every day here on our live stream, you can catch us on iHeartRadio as we podcast each and every day's top segment of OTH on iHeartRadio, and we want to get off into it. We promise you each and every week we'll get you ready for SEC football, and we're going to jump right into it and head down to College Station, where we catch up with our good buddy of AggieYell.com, Fletcher Whiteley. Fletcher, welcome back to the Hill, my man.
Well, thanks for having me.
Let's get off and recap this past weekend's ball game. Very disappointing loss, but a loss in which I thought that football team down there at Texas A&M represented themselves quite well in a 27-19 loss. What can Coach Sumlin and that entire staff and program take from last week's performance into this big one versus Florida?
Well, I know the game against Alabama was probably the most physical game I've seen, probably some of those Alabama-LSU battles from a few years ago. That was one of those games where everyone needed the ice bath afterwards. I know for a fact the Alabama offensive line all said that they were pretty sore. The defensive line said they were pretty sore. Everyone was pretty sore from that game. It was quite the battle. The problem for A&M is every time they played against a team like Alabama that had physical games like that, they never were able to bounce back, and they just kind of had a hangover from that game for the rest of the year. But they're going to go down to Gainesville, and they're going to go against a place where it's tough to win games. I know LSU won there, but historically it's tough to win in Gainesville.
When LSU, a team that A&M has had some okay success with, not dominant success, but done fared quite well. When you know that they've gone in, LSU has gone into the swamp and pulled off a big victory. You guys lose a close one to the top-ranked team in the country. How much confidence does this A&M football team take into the 12th man? I understand that they have a very high chance to win this ball game.
Well, this team has kind of, ever since that UCLA game, they've refused to listen to critics, and they refuse to quit on themselves. This is something that team's been missing the last few years. They take a lot of pride in the game. They fight hard, and they don't have a never say die attitude. And compared to last year, they've actually done a lot better in the fourth quarter than they've done pretty much all of last year, even when they were, undefeated heading into Tuscaloosa last year. And also the big thing for them is in six games, they've cut their missed tackles in just half. So they're playing better defensively, they're better on the run, and more. They just have a lot of confidence and belief in themselves that, hey, we can win out and win every game the rest of the year.
Defensively, what concerns, Coach Sumlin and staff versus the Florida offense this weekend that they feel like they have to really contain to have some success this weekend?
I'm sorry, you kind of cut out for a second.
Defensively, what's the concern for A&M versus the Florida offense that they have to really pay extra attention to have the best chance to win on Saturday?
Well, the big problem for all year for the A&M defense has been the secondary. Ever since kind of Donovan Wilson went down, they've kind of had a void at the other safety position. They had a freshman in there last week named Derek Tucker. He's going to be a good player, but he got sucked in a lot of huge run by Damian Harris against Alabama. But they're going to have to contain the quarterback. They lead the SEC in sacks, but they're going to have to make sure, unlike Jalen Hurts, and I know Jalen Hurts is a different player than the Florida quarterback, but they're going to have to contain him from running. They're going to have to keep him in third and long situations where they're going to force Florida to throw the ball. But Florida hasn't shown the ability to throw the ball well. And I know that's saying his weakness is secondary, but they're going to have to keep him in third and long situations.
Fletcher, I want to ask you a question about Kellen Mond. It just seems like each and every Saturday the young man is gaining more and more confidence. And, they always say, you go from freshman to sophomore year rather quickly in that first season. Talk about how excited is Noel Mazzoni, Kevin Sumlin, the offensive staff, going forward with Kellen Mond as their quarterback?
Well, we hope that they'll keep going forward with Kellen Mond. Nick Starkle's actually looking to possibly making a comeback later this year, a lot faster than everyone kind of thought. But, it would be unwise if they went away from Kellen Mond. I think they might possibly lose the team and some offensive players if they went away from Kellen Mond. But he makes a lot of freshman mistakes, but they're getting fewer and fewer. They were just little things from that UCLA game. He was a deer in the headlights.
Right.
But now, he was poised and kept A&M in the game against an Alabama defense. And outside of a bad fumble he had, he's gaining confidence. A lot more people wish he'd run though. He was the top dual threat quarterback in the nation, in last year's recruiting class. But
right.
He just wants to, when he does a lot of zone reads, he has a lot of space, but he'd rather hand the ball off. If he keeps that ball just a little bit more, it'll make that A&M offense run attack even more potent than it is now.
How important is it? I know Eddie, didn't have so much success on the ground versus Alabama, but how many offensives are able to just forcefully run the ball against that defense? But going into Florida, how much is Coach Sumlin and Coach Mazzoni going to put an emphasis to get back to running the football with Ford and Williams and Bussey, and just try to be who they are and who they've been so far this year?
Well, when they're able to run the ball well, it will make Kellen Mond's life just even more easier, especially when it comes to throwing the ball. I don't think A&M I don't think they trust Kellen Mond enough to win them the games. It was evident just a few weeks ago when A&M played Arkansas. They didn't trust Kellen Mond, down there in the red zone to go win the game. They want to play for overtime. I still think that's the case now. But A&M, when they're dominant, they're getting 250 yards rushing at least a game. And it makes Kellen Mond, like I said, it just makes his life a lot easier. It gives guys like Christian Kirk, Damian Ratley, who's vastly improved this year, Jamon Osborne, and just some other guys, some more chances to get more open in one-on-one coverage.
And I ask you this each and every week because I'll probably continue as the season progresses on. But have the Sharks kind of backed away from Coach Sumlin with the success that his team has had and the way that they're competing week in and week out?
Well, the seat's still hot. it's not on fire. They've kind of rebuilt the seat a little bit, but it's still it's still pretty warm right now. He's not out of the woods yet. The good news for Kevin Sumlin is there is a light, though, at the end of this forest. And that's, if you can win 9 games with this team, no one really projected 9 wins with this team this year, I think, outside of me, I think. But,
Right.
but with the way the SEC's been this year, LSU's down, Florida's not that great. Auburn's really the toughest opponent. Mississippi State, I don't buy, is a powerful team. I think they're good. I don't think they're great. Ole Miss, by the time they play Ole Miss, the sanctions might hit, and who knows what the mindset of that Ole Miss team is going to be when they come down to A&M in November. So 9 wins is possible, and that's a very good mark for someone with this team. You should probably earn him Coach of the Year with 9 wins, but 10 wins is also a possibility because they get Auburn at home. And that will probably be a pretty big game. It'll be on CBS, but most Anglim fans wish that would be another 7 o'clock kickoff in College Station.
Well, Fletch, as always, my man, love having you on. Love getting your Aggie updates weekly on our show. But as always, I know you guys have a open weekend next week, but enjoy your week off. Enjoy the ball game this weekend, and thanks for taking time out on the hill, my man.
Thank you very much. We'll pick soon.
That was Fletcher Whiteley of AggieYell.com. Always enjoy getting, Fletcher's take on just what's going on in Aggie land, the 12th man, Coach Sumlin, and that entire program. And we also had a chance yesterday to catch up. We gave you a little inside linebackers coach Vernon Hargreaves, but we caught up with inside linebacker, sophomore inside linebacker, Dijon Harris. Dijon's going to talk about just, from year 1 to year 2, his growth, what it was like to be able to go in last year's game, his true freshman season, following an injury by Drake Greenlaw. Just how he felt. And this is what Dijon had to say.
When I'm playing the number 1 team, their place.
That's what you're coming for. In order to be the best, you got to be the best. So, I'm ready to take on that challenge and face them. I played them last year as a freshman, kind of just was thrown into the fire. But I'm comfortable and I'm in a nice role that I know what I'm doing, so I'm ready.
Yeah, I'm trying. Didn't somebody get hurt against Alabama?
Drake got hurt, and I would have.
What do you remember about that? That was really your first significant playing time on defense, right?
Yeah, that was I actually played against Elkhorn, but Alabama was that first real test. So
yeah, what was that like as a freshman? Getting thrown in the fire against those guys.
My first play, I made a play on Hurt, so it kind of felt good. Then they kind of started coming at me, and they found out the weakness, so I was kind of all over the place.
How much more prepared are you a year later with the experience you got last year and all the off-season workouts in the spring and the games? Just how much more prepared are you to play Alabama now than you were back then when you kind of got thrown into the fire?
It's basically for every game. It's the confidence, the preparation that I've been taking with Coach Rose and Coach Hargreaves. Like I said, I know what I'm doing. By me getting early playing time, I'm comfortable out there and doing what I'm doing. I made enough plays to build confidence.
Is it kind of like a night-and-day deal, or how big a difference is it?
It's a big difference. Like I said, I kind of go back from last year film and watch the game film. It's a big difference.
Coach Rhodes was saying the other day that you've really done a good job of taking over as a starter, your first time as a starter, and you're still a pretty young guy. Just how do you feel like this starting has gone for you so far?
It's going great. Believe it or not, a lot of the guys feed off me. We got Santos and Kevin out there as the team captains on defense. But they can't be the only two getting the guys go. I'm not really a vocal leader. I just lead by example. And when I'm making plays, and a lot of the guys feed off me.
Paul was saying that sometimes in the middle of the week he'd get a little worried about you, but then by the end of the week you really had it down, or in the game you had it down. Is that a deal where you kind of build up to, fit into the game plan and everything? Has he said something like that to you?
He never told me that. I seen that though in the video, but I never had that much trouble with getting the game plan from Sunday and going to do it on the field by Saturday. If I have any questions, like I said, I ask them. I don't rarely have that many questions throughout the week. I might make a couple of mistakes and this and there, like that's normal at practice. But if that's how he feels, then
yeah. Well, I don't know if it's the game plan.
Linebacker Dijon Harris out of Louisiana talked a little bit about his progression his sophomore year and just being prepared and what it's going to be like to face this Alabama Crimson Tide football team on Saturday night in Bryant-Denny Stadium. But we're going to step away, get us a real quick break. More audio. But our next guest, I'm sure you want to hear about as we continue on with a little SEC football talk. But this time, heading up to Nashville and talk to Adam Sparks of the Tennessean. Talk a little Vandy. It's on the Hill with Pat Jenkins. Back in a moment.